Thank you very much for joining me today or tonight. It depends where are you connecting from. It's 6 p.m. Here, so I don't know what's your time zone. But let me share with you the topic I prepared for today or tonight. I would like to share with you some idea how to automatically create tests for Playwright. So this is the third webinar on the topic, and I'm keep adding some new enhancements and improvements. But I decided that I will keep the old content. I will just reduce it. So you could, if you see it first time, doesn't matter, because I will do a quick refresher before I will go into some new stuff. So how to automatically create tests with Playwright Bot. What I would like to cover is very short agenda for today. I would like to share with you some ideas about autonomous testing. This is the idea we are working on at Wopee already, I would say, more than 1 year. Then I would like to also share with you some inspiration or how we came to that Playwright Bot, as we call it, idea, and how we use AI, or to be more specific, LLM, to enhance our efficiency using Playwright. Then I would like to skip the prototype number 1. If you are interested, there is a YouTube video about this I could share with you later, but I would like to jump directly into the prototype number 2, which was NPM package, so you can easily bring our Playwright Bot into your Playwright testing project and use it if you are using TypeScript or JavaScript. To be honest, this could be built easily for other languages, programming languages, but we start with TypeScript and JavaScript. So, and then I would like to share with you some news. Actually, we were testing it last couple of weeks, maybe 6 to 8 weeks, with some first users. We've got the first feedback. We've bug fixed it a bit, and I would like to announce that it's ready to be used by you as well, if you are interested. Actually, there will be a couple of times this QR code I am presenting now on the right side. This is for something special I prepared at the end. You can submit or share your answer to the questions I put there, and at the end I have some small present for you. So let me now also add one very quick introduction of myself. My name is Marcel. I am a co-founder of a startup which name is Wopee.io. We are focused on regression testing for web apps, and we are building autonomous testing approach into one simple box, so you can easily start testing your app without even need of any coding skills. This is not the topic of this talk. If you are interested, I'm super excited about the topic, so I'm happy to discuss that later. But for now, today, I will skip that Wopee.io product. Maybe I will mention it a couple of times over the talk if it'll be relevant. But the goal of my presentation today is to share with you the idea of Playwright Bot. So let me start first with some explanation what the autonomous testing is. And this is old idea I'm presenting maybe last 4 years. So I decided to super simplify it, to not spend too much on that. In short, autonomous testing is testing approach where you are trying to reduce our human efforts in software testing. Of course, there is a question popping up then what we will do when there is no humans in software testing. We could discuss that as well later. Maybe you can paste or type some questions if this is something you are interested in to discuss. I will go through that chat later and reply to your questions later. So what's the autonomous testing? As I said, we are reducing our efforts, so it's human-less testing. My definition, rather than completely remove us from the loop, is reducing our efforts, because when we were talking about automation or test automation, we typically automate the test execution itself. But what about the other stuff? How we could automate test script creation, how we could automate assessment of that test results, and so on. So my not mine idea, but idea behind is that we should reduce our effort in software testing, and using AI augmentation in software testing might be the solution, or might help us to do so. So this is very high level, and I don't want to go too much into detail. So if you are interested in that, we have nice article about it I wrote on our blog. So you can read more details about that, or you can even read the future testing report we published recently about what will happen in the future with software testing, according to my opinion. And it's also based and influenced by 300 people I ask what they think could happen in next upcoming months and years. So this is autonomous testing. Just we are reducing our efforts, and to make it a bit more specific, I'm just picking up one simple thing. If we would talk about AI augmentation, I would like to share with you one of our prototype, or one of our maybe 2 years old idea we built, and we also deliver a couple of workshops about it. When people start using generative AI in software testing, specifically in test automation, we start with basically augmenting Playwright code. And how we did that, we basically create simple object, or we call it copilot, or sometimes assistant, with multiple functions. So I implement something like action, fill form. These two functions help me to do some simple stuff, not without any need of writing locators. So imagine that you would like to navigate to some login page. And if you need to do that, then instead of writing, click on ID sign in and then on text sign in, you could just in simple English say navigate to login page. And same for the filling forms. You could also do it in a way that you provide all the details, what are the locators, what are the data, what's the submit button. But instead of that, you could just say on this page, on this object page, I would like to fill the form. So this was first very raw prototypes, and we were able simply by building these custom functions, interact with application and using some LLM model under the hood to generate all the locators and all the data. In this case, the HTML itself accepts any email with @Tesena at the end and any password, and let you go through the form. So I've got this from LLM, and then I could easily log in into the page. This is not a very, I would say, useful test case, because you could log in with any password, and this is just demo app. But what I would like to demonstrate on this is that we were able, in simple language, simple English language, instruct our test to execute or interact with the application. Then what I did, I just changed the base URL and run the test again. And I've got completely different locators and completely different data. And I was able to run the same code against different application. So all the locators, all the data, everything was generated on the fly while I was executing the test. And this has a lot of buts. There is a lot of things like, okay, but I don't want to do it on the fly, because if application change, I want to see it should fail, or I should see some changes there, and so on. So the point of this demo wasn't replace the traditional method. It was just experiment to find out whether this could even work. And we found out that yes, this is possible. And we could basically forget about all the locators and all this annoying stuff we usually do in test automation, not only during the creation of the test, but also for the maintaining. This is pretty interesting benefit. if we implement it properly. And this is not the way we should implement it, but as an inspiration, this was good enough to move further with that. So the next thing, or next type of inspiration, I would say, was that we are building, as I said, at Wopee, autonomous testing bots. So you provide just URL. This is basically the first step, or first box you could see on the chart. And we are able to crawl your app, collect some information about your application. Then we could generate some user stories. From these user stories, we generate test cases, and from that, we generate automated code. So this was another idea I just steal from our product. And I said, okay, this might be good. Because one of the feedback I was getting from our customers or potential customers was, this is brilliant idea, but I really love using the code. And now you are saying you just provide the URL and I'm getting test report and I don't need to touch any code, manipulate, automate anything with that. I don't like it. So for the people who don't automate, they were happy because they don't need to learn that. But for those who really like the coding and they believe this is the scalable approach, this wasn't the right solution. So what we did, I took this idea and bring it to what I will explain soon, Playwright Bot. And how it works. Basically, we trying to streamline and optimize each and every step to collect data, process them to be efficiently used in LLM, and feed the next step. Of course, as you go, you need to always review what you are getting from the previous step, but basically you go from one to another step by running individual commands. I may be now explaining something what will come later, but this is basically the idea. We are collecting based on URL, HTML files and screenshots, which is usually done by test automation engineers anyhow, or SDETs, or whatever you would call them. Then we generate the user stories. This is usually task of business analyst, but sometimes we don't have the luxury of having these user stories, so we generate the user stories as well. Someone from business could review that or not, but we are basically trying to understand how the application works before we start writing our regression tests. And then just we move on through that all stages, but I don't want to explain it now in so much detail. We will come to that later. So how it works in practice. This is our demo app. We call it Dronjo. It's simple e-commerce website to sell drones. There are some bugs we know about. There is some random gallery, there is login page, there is checkout page, and so on. So what we did, we collect just these screenshots, and following the scheme I explained before, we were able to generate some user stories. So you could see these are the examples of a couple of user stories based on the screenshots above. Once we had that, the next step was that we generate test cases, I would say, test scripts, test cases, tests. Sometimes I'm lost in terminology, but we generate, I would call them manual test cases. And you could see some relationship between user stories on via this second column and these test cases. You could see also some priorities, some steps, some expected result, all the things you would expect from your test analyst to write into test to your test case. But once we have this, so from the screenshots to user stories to the test cases, we start generating Playwright code. Because we believe if you review and approve your user stories, if you review and approve your tests, which are generated in Markdown, we will see the demo soon, then we said, okay, let's move on. And now let's generate the Playwright code. And I would like to show you first the examples with its limitation. First one, we navigate or we test the user login. And you could see that for this particular example, it asserts assert was also generated. Sorry for that. I need to just quickly admit the guys coming late. Hello, everyone coming late. And then let's move on. So what we did, we generate this test, and based on the data I provide to LLM, I've got a test case which was pretty good. Locators worked. Maybe the test data wasn't so good because I need to have a proper username and password. And the asserts were also not good because there is no dashboard in my app. But I would like to show you one more example where this doesn't work well, and then I'll explain what we are working on now to improve it. But that's the next slide. So in this case, on the right side, you could see that my checkout page contains four-digit fields, but my code assume there is only one field to fill the card number. So I need to adjust my code generation to also deal and cope with these type of specifics, which is not maybe super clear from only screenshots. So we did first, we improve that by adding the HTML files. So we were able, for instance, the right example, you could fix it by providing HTML and instructing your LLM by improving prompt, saying you need to specifically follow this HTML. Don't Actually, there was a nice discussion about don't hallucinate as a part of prompt, and I heard that this might help. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I saw some discussion around this. Anyhow, so these were typical issues with the code generated, but still I felt, okay, if this is the only code I could get, and if these locators would work, and if there are still some issues, I would be pretty happy because I don't need to write so much code anymore. It's pre-generated for me. And if I could even improve this, then maybe I don't need to write a code at all. So let me show you some more ideas behind for this test creation process. As I said, there are a couple of benefits coming out of there. I also heard some feedback from some of our early testers, and they said, this is awesome because we were missing user stories because some of our colleagues already left the company and no one understands how it works. So at least this would try to generate something and suggest that we could maybe improve and shape it in some way, but this would actually help us to improve our documentation as well, not only test code. So there are a couple of benefits coming from the idea, but there are also some limits. It's not replacement of us. You need to still shape it, review it, approve it, and finalize it. But it's, I believe, a very nice booster of your efficiency. If you could pre-generate at least part of this, if you could share these user stories and tests with your business users or testers, this could be super helpful, I believe. But how to cope with the remaining issues I was mentioning already? As I said, we need to reflect actual HTML. So we need to share HTML with our LLM. Of course, then you are hitting some limitations of the context and so on. So you need to tweak that approach slightly by using some augmentation databases and maybe minimizing or minifying the HTML. There are some other things which I would like to share on the next slides, and it's something related to dry run and expand existing test cases. Before I will go into that, I know that this is not the best slide I pull out today, but let me stop for a while on that dry run and expand, these last two items on the very right column. Why I'm suggesting this approach to improve that what we are getting until now. I think if I would run the tests which were generated, I could collect all the failures and feedback to LLM how it is failing. So I could use that failures, that logs, to improve and adjust how that execution is done. Of course, you need to review, you need to always monitor. That's not something you could just let run and leave it, but it would help you to quickly fix or suggest better test cases by dry running that first versions, or maybe iterating over or retrying that. So multiple runs of this approach I shared before would help. And the second is, imagine that instead of only following the approach I suggest, you would bring also your test cases. You might have already some tests written in Playwright. You might follow some specific approach like page object or naming convention or anything like that. But if I would have this and I could learn from it, I could generate more quality test scripts for you in Playwright by feeding my LLM with this data. Of course, it need to be somehow pre-processed and packaged before I will sending it there. But these are two approaches which will enhance and improve the process. And actually, we are working on that to bring it to you. Some are pretty complex, but some are, I would say, easy to deliver in January or so. So let me show you these improvements in a bit more detail. First one, as I said, dry run to improve the quality. I believe I covered this. Just quickly repeat what I already said. You just collect the failures and then maybe run it again against LLM, and you are getting better code. Same for generate more test cases. You might even ask or enhance the generation by saying, these are the first tests, please give me 3 or 4 alternatives to expand the coverage. So you could also build on top of the existing test cases which were already generated by enhancing them or using them as examples for getting more test data or more tests to cover the flows with different test data. Or you could say, I would like to always log in as this email and this password, or I would like to always use this specific test data, or this is my Excel file with my test data, please use the data only from there, and so on. So this could be easily expanded by more data sources, not only what we are collecting from the web app. So let me move on now to show you some examples. As I said, my first prototype was running on top of image only. But then I also push HTML file into that LLM, and I've got very nice locators, including all these link. Actually, there is below the image there is a link, so you could get all these locators and everything reflecting the HTML in proper way. I was also sharing the URLs of the application, so there might be a couple of more data you need to provide to make sure that it'll work. So these are all the data which might enhance and improve your quality of test cases. And if you would like to try that, this is the way how it works. So, and I hope we will come to that very soon. So I package everything into node package or into npm package, and you could easily find it on GitHub by typing /Wopee.io/ and you can see the rest. I don't want to read it for you. If you're interested, just reach me out via LinkedIn or email, and I will send you the link. Or another option is there will be QR code, so you can reach me out via that one. So what this does, you basically clone the repository, you install all the dependencies. You need to set up OpenAI API key. Actually, this is the first prototype is built with OpenAI. We are working on alternatives. I will be talking later about that. And then you might use one of these 4 commands. First one is for crawling. You just run npm run crawl, and that's it. Or you could use it for generate the user stories. Actually, for the generating user stories, you need to have collected the data by crawler. Or I think I left there also example to use Figma to generate your tests. But then there is no HTML information for you, so you will be lacking, or the locators won't be valid. So you will need to provide some HTML. And then same for the generating test cases and test scripts, as I call it here. So this is the way how you could try it. And there is also a link in README how to share all the bugs. I believe there is plenty of bugs, and I believe you could also bring a lot of ideas how to enhance and improve. So if you like the idea, please try it. It's completely for free. Of course, you need to have some tokens from OpenAI. And it'll be even cheaper or for free for some of you who are interested. In January, I'll be talking later about it. So this is the way how you could use. So if you are using JavaScript or TypeScript and Playwright, just install our package and it'll work. I'll just quickly go to demo now. So to make it simple for you, so you don't need to run it on your side, I would like to show you how it is built, explaining the same by running some quick demos. So this is first one where we are running. Actually, you need to set up the config file about. You could see the config file, and then you run your crawler. There is by default 10 pages which should be crawled. It depends on the website. It might be bigger or smaller, and then we are collecting HTML files, minimized to provide it to LLM. Then screenshots as well, and also there are some data.json where you could find all the links, because sometimes the URLs might be useful for our bot to generate the test. So this is basically set of data I could use later. Now I'm generating the stories. So based on this data, I'm generating stories. We are still tweaking what data to provide to make the prompt as small as possible, but also super efficient. So we are still playing with the data to feed into LLM. But now I'm creating, based on the crowd data, the user stories. It's prepared in or generated in Markdown file. So you can easily read it on GitHub, or that's nice to read it in GitHub. We also work on other solution to have it in JSON, so then you can easily parse them and feed them to Jira or somewhere else, any other ticketing system. You could parse it from here as well, but it wouldn't be so simple. But this is basically the idea behind the user stories, because usually this is good to discuss with business whether this is relevant, whether the priority is the thing you could or you should focus on. And also this is not only it might still something missing. This is just booster. This is not replacer of anybody. It's more speeding up us. So we are getting some superpower, I would believe, by using this. So once we have this, we have crawled app, we have the data which might be relevant. It might still growing because we are still prototyping and searching for the best option or approach to tackle this. But we have user stories, we have the crawl data. What would be the next? As I said, there are these user stories generated from the LLM. And now let's move on to the next stage. So what I'm doing now, I will be basically just running tests, which means I'm taking the user stories and feeding back the LLM, but there should be review and approval, maybe extension of that user stories. And now I'm asking the OpenAI again to get the test cases. It takes some time. I think we are maybe feeding more data there than it was previously done, but then you are getting tests. And basically that's the same approach as for the user stories. You could see some, okay, maybe I add the ID for the template. So you could see some ID, then it's related to the user stories, and again, priority and so on. And this will be our source for the next step. So if I believe these are good test cases, I need to review, I need to be test analyst as well, or I need to ask my colleague who are better on that, whether this is good enough, or whether we should expand, or whether we should use different test data, what are the test data. And actually, if I would know what should be tested and what are the test data, I could package it into my prompts, so I would get even better results already on this stage. So once I have it, I just move on. This is the output. And once I have this all generated, the next one is that I'm generating executable code. Let me see whether we could do it now here. So you could see that I have this Playbot data folder where I'm storing all the data there. I'm considering to split this into doc file to keep the markdown files, and then you can see via Git what are the new files or modifications, and you can regenerate. So maybe if you have already a list of tests in Markdown and you just generate it using already or new screenshots, then you could expand that list of tests. But all these ideas are not implemented yet, and I will be probably driven by user feedback. So if you have any ideas, just put them on the issue list. And I hope there will be some more people voting for some ideas. So I would like to now listen to community and improve what you would value most. Now you can see that there are a couple of files under the tests folder, and you could see that some of the test cases are there. You could see also that the naming convention follows some ID dash a name. So you could see, and in this demo, I recorded, I don't like the URLs in that code, so I will improve that in the future. But still, you have some executable code you can tweak. And I believe if this would help you to cover 60 to 80% of your coding, you just basically cutting down half of the effort or time you spend on this. So basically that's it. These are the test cases I just pull out from the list, where I felt like maybe this might be good enough, or this might be interesting and relevant. This is what I've got generated. What you saw until now was something which we are building maybe since summer. But I already started with first 20 or 30 people. I don't remember exact number, but we start running some early testing. So there were already some volunteers, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for those who helped me. And they report a couple of bugs and ideas and so on. So there are there is some new stuff already there, or it'll be there very soon. I don't know whether Alex is today on a call, but he was complaining 2 weeks ago that there is no link to connect, and he was asking about the cookies. So I will tell you some more topics what we implemented already. So first, what we are introducing, I'll just quickly go through this broken animation. It looks like I didn't set it up properly. So first one is, as I said, this Playwright AI Bot is already public, so you can use it easily. Then we also introduce the crawler is now able to log in, because it wasn't at the initial version. Now you can use login or set up cookies before you start crawling, because sometimes there is no point to collect the data from your app to use it as a user stories and tests if you are not logged in. And then we are also introducing something like, I would call it advanced features. I would like to completely rewrite the crawler, because I could see the pain coming out of it. It's there. You are welcome to send me even pull requests to improve it. But we have much better algorithms already in our product. So what I am now working on is that I will connect that Playwright bot with our API, and I could promise now that first 1,000 users will get that access for free for 1 year. So if you are interested, just scan the code, and if you are on the top 1,000, I'll contact you once it's ready. So you could use this AI crawler completely for free. And what we are also working is that we are trying to package the LLM into more efficient way. We want to fine tune the models. We will build our own model. We will also add some caching, some memory, so it will remember the previous runs and build some more enhanced things which we cannot build into NPM package, but we know it would be much better. So this is something what we are working on now. Yeah, I was talking about this already. So if you would like to install it and use it with your tests or within your project, you could also go to npmjs.com and /package/ Playwright AI Bot. There is a npm package, so you can install it from scratch. I would rather advise you use the demo. So it's Playwright AI Bot -demo. For the first experiments to see how it works, and then bring it to your project if you still believe this is interesting for you. If you want to go for the bigger jump, just use it from scratch and start using this npm package on your side. I was also explaining this one, but I will quickly. This is in README file. So, and I see that we are slightly overrunning today. Still have 20 minutes, but I would like to keep some space for the questions if there are any. This is basically the way how you could set up your authentication and cookies or whatever you need to store in your browser. You first need to run your Playwright code gen and use standard storage approach from Playwright, and then provide it to our Playwright bot. This is the way how to do that. All the details are in README. I don't want to now annoy you with too many details. As I said, this is what we are building now. It'll be, I don't know whether it'll be really model or just API. Now it's in our prototype is more API than model, but I believe we could completely reshape the way how this could work. And if you want to save some money on your site, not using OpenAI tokens, then we could give access to first 1,000 users for 1 year free. So this is the thing, but you can still use it with OpenAI without us, and it's completely free except the tokens. But if you have it from your company, you basically don't bother about this. Yeah, that's basically it. What we are also working on this enhancing is connecting this to other models. So you can even connect your Llama model if you are working in super secure environment. You can build it on-prem. If you want to be first user, let me know via the QR code. I was sharing this couple of times. I'm sharing it again, probably last time or second last. I don't remember whether there will be one more slide. But basically what I'm now searching for is first users' feedback to enhance, improve, and make it super valuable for you. We are at the beginning, so maybe the efficiency rate, if I could call it in that way, might be only 60, as I said, percent, or maybe 50 or 80, I don't know. This is also part of the discussion I would like to, or I would love to have with all these early users. So apart from enhancing and improving it to make your automation life easier, I would like to also give you then free access for 1 year. As I said, we are building this same approach into simple tool where you provide the URL and you are getting test results. Of course, we see how many challenges are on the way to build it in this super simple approach. So we have first achievements, but we found out that this is good for manual testers or QAs or whatever we would call ourselves. But if you are interested in coding, or if you are test automation engineer or as that, you probably prefer to build your coded approach, and that's why we basically build the same approach into that Playwright AI bot. Apart from building this fully autonomous platform using UI and Playwright bot, as you saw, we have also some other approaches where we are using AI to, I would say, power your efficiency or improve your efficiency. So if you would be interested to work closer with us, I am happy to discuss with you. But this approach, reducing our manual efforts, especially from tedious tasks, using some AI, is the topic we are now focused on, and working with first customers on some pilot projects and some first early engagements using already existing pre-built solutions or tools we have, and tweaking it for their purposes. So if you feel like this is something for you, and if you would be interested, let me know. And basically that's it for today. I don't know whether you like it, but I hope you are excited as I am. And now it's time for the questions or any feedback. If you don't have any question, just let me know whether you like it or not. So thank you very much. I will stop sharing and I will switch to chat to respond to your questions.